Hi everyone, my name is Natasha Westover and welcome to Accounted International. In my spare time, I read so many books and consume them on audiobook, and I listen to podcasts and I watch YouTube interviews, and I'm constantly looking at how I can improve. So a lot of them are sort of business books, self-development, cultivating a growth mindset. And so I thought I'd share with you guys some of the sort of ones that I found really interesting and also really valuable. And recently I've just finished reading a book called The Third Door by Alex Banayan. Sure I'm saying that's right, Banayan. And it is really an interesting story about how this guy Alex discovers how some of these really famous people we know, like Steven Spielberg, Warren Buffett, people like that, how they hacked their way to getting like their foot in the door, getting their first opportunity. So it's all about this sort of this third door, this sneaky way of doing something that isn't as traditional as you might think. The stories he tells about Steven Spielberg being like one of the most fun ones that I enjoyed, and I won't give it away because it's really worth reading the book to get this from the book. It's just so interesting of these people that are now household names, how they got started, and especially sort of like Warren Buffett and people that you now think just have a regular job but they've been massively successful. They all have these really lovely stories of how they got a good break, and the book really is about like preparing to get that lucky break. It definitely shows you about hard work and preparation, but also about thinking outside the box to sort of try and figure out your way through your career or to get that opportunity that you really want. The book is quite weird because in one respect it's really black and white, and it's just, here are some people I met that you would probably know of, Tim Ferriss, Steven Spielberg, people like that. Here's their story of how they use this third door, this hacking lifestyle to sort of get their foot in the door. However, alongside that is the story of how Alex got himself into a position where he was able to fund this book, where he was able to get access to these people. So it really is like a dual story that runs along through this book. And Alex himself is really candid about what he goes through. About, he's a young man when he's writing this book, about how he's fearful of letting his family down. So those sorts of pressure and just being open about the fear and the courage it takes to kind of like take a step back. And he's really clear that he's on this big mission of, I want to meet these people, I want to understand what they did, and I want to share that story because I think it'll be really valuable. So throughout the book, he constantly refers to the audience of the book, and that being the bigger mission, and how he wants to share this valuable information with us. And he doesn't refer to it like that, but that's how it is. He constantly refers to the bigger picture, the bigger mission. And I love that, because I think when you're trying to do anything that's a bit different than the traditional way of doing things, it can be really uncomfortable. Take it from someone who has to go and pitch to people, and I'm a finance professional, so I'm not a professional pitcher, but I do push myself in that respect. And he really describes it really well, of how there are moments in the book where he's just paralyzed with fear, and then he's like, but he's kind of doing it for the audience, and he's doing it to gain this valuable information. And that is how it is in life, really. I think whenever I step out of my comfort zone, it has to be something that's bigger than just me getting a bit more money or a bit more personal gain. And he describes it really, really well. It's a really funny book. There are moments when you're just like, oh, you could just die for him. It's just so embarrassing. And there are other moments when you're just like rooting for him. But yeah, it's quite funny. It's also quite deep and quite sad in places. Things go wrong. There's like plot twists and things like that. And you just really feel for the guy. And then at the end of it, he's got this book that you've consumed. It's a really, really interesting dynamic. But my main takeaways were sort of when preparation and that lucky opportunity meet, that's when all these special things happen. And also about the price of like pressure from his family, the fear he felt, the guilt and shame he felt, and the courage it takes to just rationalize that and to take the next step anyway. They were really my main takeaways. How I consumed the book, I listened to it on Audible. It's just under 9 hours. I listened to it on regular speed, so there are different speeds on audio. When my brain was really, really fresh, I could listen to it on 1.25, but for the most part, he does speak quite quickly, so it is like a 9 hour read if you're consuming it like that. But anyway, that is my takeaway from The Third Door, Alex Banayan. And we'll have more book reviews and my opinion on what I got out of these books going forward. So please join us for other book reviews in future, and we'll see you soon.